The last time you saw me, I certainly didn't look like this. I didn't have this big of a beard, and it's been a little while since we spoke, so here's an update as to what's going on here on the homestead.
Look at them! They're so tiny!
In 1 week, the size of our herd doubled. Do I know that this is a maple tree? Not really. Have I done this before? No. But that's never stopped me before, so we're gonna see if we can't boil down some maple syrup this year. For the past few months, I have been editing our TV show that you'll be able to watch here soon. Here's a little snippet of that.
Well, the movement to grow your own food and become more self-sustained seems to be growing right across Canada. And my next guest is doing exactly that.
Cooking from scratch for me isn't just a hobby, it's something that I really have to do for my own health.
Now this is a new plot for this year. This is something we just tilled in, so of course we're going to be fighting grass.
Bucky never eats anything, so this is new.
But other than our TV show, just having a baby, having a small farm, and it being winter has just been heavy. So it's been something that we haven't had a lot of time to be able to create content and keep you updated as much as we'd like. We've tried to keep people updated on Facebook, but for YouTube, the long form content has just felt like a lot. So we haven't been making as much, and we haven't really felt like we've had much to say. We've put out a few shorts and short little videos here and there, but we have been trying to get back to our why. Why do we do this? This year we want to grow our homestead more than ever. We've already planned to, I don't have a number that I want to stop at for chickens.
Last year we got 100 meat birds, and I thought that was so many. Even everyone that we talk to thinks that 100 meat birds is absolutely nuts. And yet, for some reason, Ben decided this year we need 200.
Everything that we're doing right now, everything that we're doing on our homestead, that we're learning, we're doing it for our family. Both us currently, our growing family, but our extended family as well. And I think the state of the world, regardless of where you stand politically, the state of the world is in a dangerous place. And I think and know that the more that we can come together, we've been so divided over the last 10 years, 20 years. So the more that we can come together communally as families, as friends, be able to help each other and grow with each other, will be incredible. To learn from each other, to be able to share our ups, our downs. We want to be able to educate and entertain you. Because you watch these videos and you enjoy what we do and what we put out, we want to share what's going on in our homestead. And I think some of you are able to learn from what we do and our mistakes that we make, and hopefully you can laugh along the way. So that's what we're going to try more to do this year. If you are local, we're going to try to put on some events here on the homestead. I'm trying to get it cleaned up. I spent all yesterday cleaning up around the farm, just tidying things up, making it look good, because we want it to be somewhere that people can come and learn and experience and have fun. We've got the farm shop that we set up last year, and so we're hoping to grow that more and more. And Nicole's got a few farmers markets scheduled that she can go to, and she's got, you can see her soaps behind me. We've got a ton of things that we want to do this year, and we'll see how it goes. But as far as the farm or the homestead, it just feels kind of stagnant. And that's not true at all. I mean, we just had goat kids warming you up in the sun because you're black. The black warm baby. And our garden plans are bigger than ever, but it just feels like there's no big steps forward, which I guess is kind of anticlimactic, and we feel like there's nothing going on, but the truth is there is all the time. And so we want to be able to share that, and we want to be able to share more with you what we're doing, from canning and soap making to cooking and cleaning and all of these different things that we are putting in place, and the things that we are learning on a regular basis we want to share. I've been doing more studying with regards to soil biology and studying with regards to health, nutrition, herbology, and we want to share that with you too. However, I don't feel like I'm the perfect person to be able to share all of these things, or some of these things. We're learning, and I think we're learning together. And I think the benefit that we have is that we are able to share through our experiences. There's a lot of people on YouTube and beyond that share fake professionalism and share like they know things, but they don't. And we never want to come across like we are faking it. The truth is, we are just learning this and just figuring this out. And we want to be able to educate you who may just be a few steps behind us. We're not expert gardeners. We're not expert livestock people. We want to be able to teach you where we're at so that you can get to where we're at and what we've learned, the mistakes we've made along the way. That being said, we've killed things. Things have died at our hands that we didn't want to. We just lost a goat kid that was part of triplets this past week. We've lost chickens. We lost a couple of quails recently. It happens. Things die. And that's one of the biggest lessons that we've had to learn over the last couple of years, is that with livestock comes dead stock. And regardless of how many times people tell us that over and over again, it's something that I am constantly learning and constantly trying to come to terms with, because it's hard to actualize and hard to realize that losing an animal or losing a baby chick or a baby goat happens. It's a part of this life, and it's something that we're still getting used to. And more than that, we want to be able to, and sort of this journey has always been to be able to be self-sufficient. We've been trying, and I started shooting a video a couple of months ago. We wanted to not go to the grocery store.
Over the past few years, we've been farming, and our main goal really is to be left alone. And we want to stop using the grocery store.
We're tired of the grocery store. The grocery store is expensive. Regardless of what you're buying and how much you're buying, it makes no sense. Part of that is corporate greed. Part of that is inflation. Part of that is a lot of garbage, especially here in Canada. If you're from the US, I think that's very similar there too.
Experts are projecting a hike in overall food prices across the country. But the good news is the increase itself is lower than what has been trending in recent years.
It's probably going to be anywhere between 2.5 to 3%, based on what's happening with the CPI. That's basically where we're going right now, which is good news.
We're trying to get to a point where we are eating only things like the canned goods behind me and things that we're able to grow and harvest here on the farm. And that means we want to have more sustainable practices. We need to have animals that are more sustainable to be able to raise. I don't think meat chickens are where it's at. They're great meat. We love them. But we can't hatch our own meat chickens. We could sort of dual purpose, and we could do that. They take longer. However, what we're trying to get into, and I know I swore I would never do them again, is meat rabbits. We've gotten back into meat rabbits, and we're going to try them to see how it goes this season. Hopefully it goes well. We'll see. We've got the meat rabbits, we've got the quail, we've got goats that are good for milk. We're going to try a few different things that we'll be able to grow and use. And basically anytime we see something at the grocery store that we don't produce ourselves, we ask ourselves, how could we? Can we make that? Can we figure that out? And I think we're getting pretty good at realizing the downfalls that we have and the things that we're not capable of doing. Things like wheat, things like grains, like the grain for our animals is a big thing that we don't yet have. And that exemplifies, or that shows the biggest necessity for community, for us to be able to do things together, because we can have grain farmers, or we can have people who make feed, and then we can grow meat, or we can grow whatever. And something that we've really been researching and talking about is the importance of small-scale agriculture. And I think that's something that we'll get more into this year, and sort of the education portion, and how it's important for more small farms to be popping up. It's important for more small farms to be growing more food for you, for me, for us, because we're not experts at everything. We kind of have our niche and things that we can grow. Everybody should have a garden, regardless of whether you have a farm, if you have the capacity. And I think everybody can grow something in their windowsill, or grow something in a hydroponic tower that we've sort of talked about before. And there's definitely benefits to small-scale agriculture because it's hyper-local. You don't have to go to the grocery store and worry about the additives and preservatives and the junk that is making us sick. It doesn't need to be on our food. There's a lot of stuff. Something I spoke about recently in a recent short or video was the detriment to our food system.
Want to know how bad the majority of food nowadays is for you? I've been reading studies on the nutritional density of food and how it's changed over time. There's a research study done that said that the majority of food that we buy from the grocery store today is deficient or is 40% less nutritious than it was years ago. So if you grow food at home, or hopefully grow an heirloom vegetable at home, you're getting more nutritional density than stuff you're getting at the grocery store, because we've hybridized those things at the grocery store. We want them to grow fast, grow big, and grow pretty. We're not really concerned about nutrition. Certain things like wheats and grains, we're concerned about carbohydrates, but we're really not focusing on phytonutrients and micronutrients that you really need to survive on. You need those micronutrients, and those are things that help your body run. But for some reason, we're only focused on making bigger, better, prettier, but not more nutritious.
The nutrition 40, 50 years ago, was so much better than it is today. Today, our fruits and vegetables are much more today our fruits and vegetables are less nutritious than they were years ago, and they've quantified that. There are studies that show that fruits and vegetables are not the same that they were. They provide less nutrition. They provide 40%, 5% to 40% less, depending on what vegetables you study, nutritional micronutrients, phytonutrients than they did years ago. But if you can grow it yourself, if you can grow heritage vegetables, if you can grow fruits, if you can grow things that you're not dousing in glyphosate, that you are not using chemical fertilizers, that you are able to grow the old-fashioned way, as it were, you're going to have a better product. You're going to have better produce, and you're going to have a healthier family. We've noticed that when we are, even now, because we're coming into spring and we're trying to grow things again, we're running low on our stores of canned goods, frozen stuff, so we're kind of getting tired of the same meals. But we've noticed that when we go to fast food is one thing, but when we go to store-bought food from our homegrown stuff, we feel worse afterwards. We don't have the same energy. We don't have the same stamina, capacity. We've noticed that the stuff that we grow or that we buy hyper locally, that is raised on farms that we know, where we get from people we know, is so much better for us anecdotally, for our bodies, but it's also the food from the grocery store ends up making us sick. It makes us feel like crap. Regardless of whether it is fruits, vegetables, meat, there's something about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's additives or the fact that a lot of those fruits and vegetables are picked too early. They get picked too early and then they're artificially ripened so that they can last longer, which I understand. They need to be shipped somewhere. Again, the benefit of farms, hyper-local, small-scale agriculture, is the ability to feed your community with fruits and vegetables that are fresh, that are ripe, that don't need to be shipped from Mexico, that don't need to be shipped from other countries. We need hyper-local community agriculture, community-supported agriculture, to be able to grow these things. The difficulty is, when you are not doing that stuff at scale, it's a little more expensive. So for me to produce fruits and vegetables is more expensive than a massive corporation or a massive company that's getting government subsidies. These big farms are able to do things at scale so that they can count on a 10% crop loss, or they can count on whatever, where we don't have that luxury because we are planting almost exactly what we need, maybe 10% more, but that 10% is much less than a large-scale agricultural operation. So the stuff that they throw out and the stuff that doesn't get bought or distributed is waste, or is considered waste by these large distributors and these grocery stores, whereas these farms could be selling it on the side, and some do. But the reality is we don't have enough hyper-local, community-supported agriculture, at least in New Brunswick, at least in Canada, as far as I'm aware. There are small little sects of it popping up, but it's something that we need more of, which is why we do what we do, and why we try to grow as much food as we can to be able to help our health. We know what it feels like to eat good veg. We know what it feels like to eat good fruit. We know what it feels like to eat hyper-local meat, great meat that has been produced locally, that we've grown ourselves, that we've butchered ourselves. So we want to teach you that, and we want to help you learn and laugh along the way. And like, this is more than just entertainment. We want to be able to teach too, and we want to learn from other people. We want to go to other farms, and we want to go to other homesteads, and we want to learn how to do this better, or how other people do things. And we want to interview people, and that has been historically the premise of the TV show. So here we want to give you behind the scenes, and we want to talk about what we've got going on, how we're doing things, little updates. So the more questions you can ask, the more opportunity for content we'll be able to make, so that we can answer your questions, basically, because that's what this is. This is a relationship between you and I, between Nicole and I and you. We want to invite you into what we're doing, so that we can share, so that we can be honest and open, and we can help each other, whether you are someone down in the southern states, on the west coast, wherever you are. I know we've got followers from like South Africa and other places around the world, India. It's amazing to see people all come together for one cause, and that's the benefit of the internet. That's the benefit of YouTube, is we can talk to you directly, and you have direct access to us. With my cell phone, I can talk to you very quickly. You comment, and I'm right there. Notifications go directly to my phone, and we want to help as much as we can, and we want to do as much as we can to be able to teach. So that's where we're at. We're doing a lot of things, we're growing a lot of things. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be putting out more and more videos. Now that the snow has melted and spring has touched our face, we're getting that vitamin D. Finally, the sunshine is coming through. Yeah, it's gonna be a good couple of months. It's gonna be chaotic, it's gonna be crazy, but I'm excited.
Started experimenting predominantly carnivore 3 years ago on the 1st of February.